Just a bit of a shout out to the vendors. So you've got Total Mental Performance upstairs if you've not seen them. So myself, Sean, Mark Rose, kind of work with these guys. Genuinely changed me as a person and changed kind of the projection of my business. You then got Dedicated by Design with Callum, who are a strength coaching team. Ryan Moore, who also is mine, Sean, and Ben's financial advisor. We've got OmniSuite with Lewis, who basically runs my ads at the moment. We have actually got us, but I've only just had a banner up there. My team's basically just sacked it off, but you'll obviously see a lot of me today. Then you've got the ICM with Cal Raystrick, AW, and then OneFit UK. So what I'd just recommend is that when you go upstairs, like, have a chat to these guys. They've got some good offers on. They've got some kind of good structures going on. So just kind of meet and greet, and you'll basically see that throughout the day it's going to be busy. I'm going to be knackered by the end of this, but basically, it is going to be absolutely back-to-back throughout the day. So you got the intro now, kind of covering everything. I'm going to be doing a talk for 40 minutes. Then we've got the Enigma, Sean Casey, coming on and doing a talk. After that, we're basically doing a social media. It's like submit your Instagram handle, but we've got a massive spin the wheel going off later. If you want to go outside and have 90 seconds in air, then get out at that break. But basically, we're going to have a team picture there, then going into Steph, then going into Ben, and basically, obviously, at lunch, I know everyone's going to want to get a bit of air, but all the meeting points throughout the day are going to be basically at the networking balcony, and then it's going to be back-to-back throughout the day. So just strap in, really. So my talk today, I wanted to basically do it on something that set the tone for everyone else. You've obviously got social media, you've got paid media, you've got building apps, you've got leadership, you've got mindset. But if you ain't got management, you ain't got fuck all, basically. As a coach, you'll probably heard the term that you can't manage what you can't measure. So it's basically exactly the same when it comes to business. Like, we basically live in a day and age now where it's all based on direct response. And I'll show you today that, in essence, it's not about that. So a bit of an intro to me. My name's Ben Hawksworth, for people who don't know. The main role that I do now is basically like an agency strategist. So I have a team who basically do everything for me, and I just have to think. That's how it kind of works. I'm a business consultant and basically build 6- and 7-figure companies. The founder at the Coach Convention, the Coach Consultant, CP Education. I was quite highly educated in sport, and then it were all pointless because I just went into business, really. So that's that story. But in terms of personal side, I'm a husband. I'm a new dad, which has definitely been the biggest challenge that I've ever faced in my life. And I've also quite highly autistic. So in essence, I stay very, very, very busy. So that's the best way I could describe it. So I like to stay active. I like to stay kind of on top of things. So this is basically the main, if I'm going to have one outcome that I want from my talk today, is just to think bigger. In this day and age now, like, it's about call to actions. It's about cold DMs. It's about running offers. Right, but what you've got to take into account is how many call to actions does it take for someone to stop giving a fuck about what you've got to say? Like, how many cold DMs does it take until someone doesn't care about your personal brand anymore? And when you're looking at running offers, how many offers do you have to run until people see you as actually just cheap? Right, or you've ruined your profit margins because you're trying to just push money. Right, people are just thinking about, right, what's in front of them at this moment. And it's not the coach's fault, it's the mentoring sector, because it's just full of shithouses. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And what I basically want to kind of get from the outcome of every single speaker on the day, because all of these guys are either my clients or my network, is these guys do it properly. Right? They've gone in, they've done the work, and I really want to kind of take that out of the day. So what I'll be covering is the SSS model, which is not an exciting 7-figure scaling systems model. It's just common sense. Concept of a marketing arrowhead, operations, lead generation arrowhead, marketing roadmaps, how to set quarterly goals, isolating key campaigns, a 4-step for a product launch, progressive marketing, and then people don't need to be the problem. So in essence, mine's probably going to be the most boring talk of the day. But it's the shit that I really, really like. And you can't do anything else until you actually get all this stuff right. So I've got a bit of an obsession with pretty much everything presented as a triangle in business. I'm not part of the Illuminati. I just really like triangles. Again, autistic. So this is basically a model that we run in our business. There's loads of crazy shit like where, oh, you've got 7-figure this, or you've got the F4T whatever fucking backflip method. Shut the fuck. Do you know what I mean? For me, it comes down to common sense. So we basically have something called scalability, strategy, and sustainability. So at the bottom, if you've not got socials and if you've not got reach, you're going to be struggling, right? If you've not got systems, you're not going to be able to get off the ground, right? If you've not got the actual right business model, which what you'll see with a few people speaking today, then you're basically just aiming in the complete wrong direction. So the foundations to your business will always start based on scalability. If you look at where you are right now and where you want to go and think, fucking hell, I don't even know how to get there, then that's when you need to start. You need to set your foundations before thinking, shit, right, I'm going to throw a 12-month piff at someone. The next one from that point is strategy, because you can't get off the floor without actually knowing where you're going. So setting a forward-facing lead generation, sales, campaigns, and basically the actual tactics that you need to get up to that next level. And then the top one, which is a lot of the guys today, that's in terms of my agency clients, that's the one thing that they struggle with the most. Like, fucking hell, we've built this big, massive business, we're earning all this money, how do we actually sustain it? How do we actually maintain such a high level of performance and actually still enjoy what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis? So that is just literally our model. It's simple, it's basic, it's logical, but it works. And it will work time and time again. So another triangle, there's quite a few. So basically, when I look at marketing, people look at marketing, it's like straight into ads, it's straight into socials, it's straight into sales, lead generation, whereas in reality, it's your product. If you've got a good product, it'll sell itself. If you've got a shit product, then you're going to be on a back burner straight away. So the foundations to your marketing needs to start with how confident that you are behind your actual product. So for example, if you come in and you're talking about something and you've got confidence and conviction behind it, your level of volume of impressions of marketing does not need to be high, because you literally just back yourself. Like, when you're having to go high volume, push, it's because you're not getting referrals. Right? You're not getting kind of people coming to you. So your product value is your baseline. From that point, right, even before you think about sales, have you got reach? Have you got lead generation? And I always kind of use this concept with people in terms of like kind of pushing the business forward. I was like, right, in reality, if we want to achieve more sales, we need to have a high-level lead gen, high-level reach, push more volume into it, and just see how the business actually handles it. From an operational perspective, which is what I probably say that I love this stuff the most, in all fairness. For me, communication and collaboration builds high-performance businesses. I think that you can go onto YouTube and get a crazy quick fix like tactic, but in reality, like, if you're looking to kind of push up to really, really big figures down the line, it comes down to how you can actually communicate and collaborate with different people. So once you basically get a foundation of clear communication and collaboration and respect with you and your team, and as you start to grow, all you need is deadlines from that point. All you need is an easy set timeline to go, right, based on what we want to do, this is where we need to go, this is when we need to achieve it by. And then finally, you've basically got a lead generation pyramid, which I've spoken about quite a lot on socials, so people have probably heard this before. But basically, in essence, you've got a foundation of volume. You need data capture. So there's absolutely no point in coming in and dropping out a crazy, massive, interactive online coach if you've got fucking 5 emails. So you need to be looking at, right, how can I build a foundation for a volume of a database? From that point, how can I actually convert them based on the value and interaction of that? And then finally looking at something which is interactive to actually kind of get that collaboration with that person and get them over the line. Rather than just going, here's a PDF. Think a little bit bigger, think like a bit more creative, and look at actual concepts associated with, wait, in reality, if I release a training program, that's going to be quite low on buying interest in it. Right? Whereas if you've got like a crazy cool like interactive assessment with follow-up videos and breakdowns, someone's going to have a lot higher buying interest off the back of that. But in essence, I just wanted to show how fancy triangles are. So diving into this one, if you've not got a roadmap in place, what are you actually working towards? I say this to people all the time, like, you can have the biggest social media, you can have the biggest potential, you can have the best product, but you can also miss the fucking point really easily. This is not even just of a sense of, right, where you're not performing in business. I've done this myself. Might have been last year. We scaled so fast. I remember one year we had 10x revenue in 12 months. Absolutely disgusting level of growth. I was absolutely fucking miserable at the end of it. That was actually after the coach convention in 2022, when I was almost like clinically depressed because I was working that much, I was earning that much fucking money, I hated every second of it. So to me, that's missing the point, right? fulfillment is the thing that you need to be looking for long term. If you can stay fulfilled over a sustained period of time, while obviously growing, then that's when you've got maximum scalability. That's when you can have confidence in your strategy. That's when you're going to actually be able to sustain what you are doing long term. So if you take a client, for example, and you look at a diet, a training program, and in essence, when you build out like a structure to them, like to achieving results, if you don't have like a client roadmap or a client journey, it's just aimless, isn't it? Here's your diet plan, here's your training program, right, I'll see you next week. Right, when you take on an online client, for example, you've got fat loss phase, you've got I don't know anything about coaching anymore, but you've got all these fancy phases, what Cal will do with ICM with you, not me. But in essence, it's the same thing when you're looking at business. It's all about phase planning. Sometimes you need to pull back. Sometimes you need to take it steady. Sometimes you need to look at developments and planning, and rather than just going marketing, direct response, lead gen, DM, ad. Right? If you think forwards, then I can promise you, you start to see your vision actually come together. I've actually got a funny slide there. Don't worry about this. But in essence, right, imagine that you build out a 6-month like skeleton plan for a client. I want you to imagine that you're doing that with your business. Right? But rather than just looking at this from a perspective of going, right, in order for me to earn this much money right now, I'm going to do this in terms of marketing. Look at it of how can I actually develop my product so it's higher value in the process. Right? If you can balance basically operational development and marketing at the same time, you'd be shocked at what you can do. But the issue is the fact that, and I do this myself, do you know what, I'm not even going to turn around. I've done this for my business so many times, and then I'll forget about it, and then I have to come back to it and think, fucking hell, why have I lost track? So it's because I've gone off my timeline, I've gone off my forward-facing structure. So this is something that I kind of use with clients where you basically got campaign target, content marketing, email marketing, applied lead gen, paid media applicable, all the split offers. Then all you basically do from that point is just set a step-by-step process on building what you're going to do. Right? And it's not that deep, it's not that complicated. I know you might look at that and think, fucking hell, that's heavy. Right? I am absolutely useless at Excel. I mean, you've never seen anything like it. But even just building out a simple step-by-step structure on Excel is very, very high value, right? So as a first starting point, rather than thinking, shit, what am I going to do in 38 weeks from now in that specific area, build out your overview, all right? So one thing that we always say to people is when it's on marketing, right, never think, right, I want to earn this much money, right? You want to be coming in and going, right, in order for me to earn that much money, I need to basically achieve X, Y, and Z forwards. Because if you've got let's just say a 40% conversion based on your lead gen, you don't need to be hitting that number, you need to be hitting fucking double it. Right, so when you're looking at your marketing and lead generation and sales efforts, don't think about, right, what's the next step in front of me? Look what's 10 steps ahead and then track back and think, right, in order for me to hit that target, this is how much volume I need to accumulate to get that point of sale. Right, so the main thing that you're setting from that point is, right, what's my lead generation targets, what are my conversion targets, and then tracking back. And then simply just kind of set goals, right? And you'd be shocked, right? When you're coming in and you're going, right, I'm going to set my Q1 target, add 20%, when you have a forward-facing plan, add 20% on, do this type of structure and you'll be shocked at what you can actually achieve. But the amount of people who have come to me who are doing 6-figure months, and I'll turn around to them and go, oh, what were your target in January? And they're like, I ain't got a fucking clue how much I'm earning. Right, if you're going to be honest with yourself, like how tight are you actually with your finances? Like how much do you actually know about your business? Because a lot of people don't because they're just going through the motions day to day. There's nothing forward-facing. But the moment that you do have those forward-facing structures, you're onto an absolute winner. And then alongside that, set a key development every single month. So it's like, right, based on my business right now, I know that I want to earn X amount of money in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? But if I do hit those sales targets, how can you actually invest back into your business to have a higher value service, to retain more clients and have more better shit to talk about? Because if not, you get to a point of going into Q4 and you're still talking about same shit that you were in Q1. People are going to get really bored of that, right? So using Sean as an example, like with Glean app, sold out launch in the first day. Straight after that, we were like, right, what we need to bring something new in, because what is that? Another 5,000 people are going to buy the same thing, right? We need to be promoting new stuff because we've just spoke about the same shit. So when you're looking at your developments and your operational perspective, yeah, it's not marketing because you're improving your product. But if you've got improvements and better shit to speak about, people are going to enjoy that. If you can show your audience and show your community that, like, yeah, this is who we are right now, but look how much I'm putting into this to make it better, People are going to get bought into that. That becomes the foundation for what your actual marketing is. This is where it gets heavy. This is all it takes. So imagine that you come in and you've got an individual sell, for example, right? All you need to do is line up going, right, I'm going to be coming in, I'm launching an app, I'm launching a challenge, I've got a VIP one-to-one coaching, right? So then you basically set out an easy step-by-step structure going, right, based on what I know I need to launch with that app, right, we need to have this done at this date. It could be development, it could be discovery, it could be market research, right? In order for me to actually sell that fucker, I need to make sure I've got a marketing plan. Right, so 12 weeks before, so let's just say, right, 8 weeks before that launch, I'm going to set up a 8-week pre-launch structure, which is going to be early bird. Right, but the issue is, like, we just get to the point, and I do it myself, I'm like, shit, I'm launching a product in 4 weeks, and I've not actually got a plan. But if you set it all forwards, and you have these kind of pre-launches and post-launch phases, everything becomes a lot easier. So you're going to have, like, Aaron Branch blowing your head off today, like in terms of ads, like he did me when I worked with him. You're going to have Sean talking about social media. You've got Stephanie talking about how she basically built and launched an app. That shit is not easy. And I can promise you that along the way, most of us will have done it wrong. But the best thing that you can do is literally just have a forward-facing plan, because it gives you the foundation to make sure that everything else is a success after that. So from that point, so you've gone through the steps, right? So you've got step one is looking at Q1 targets and then operational and value developments. From that point, you basically isolate the launch dates, developments, and then campaigns. And then from that point, looking at progressive marketing. Sorry to say this term, but you don't need to blow your load on marketing straight away. Do you know what I mean? Take your time with it. Like, you don't need to be coming in and going absolute all guns blazing, right? If you start, let's just say, as a key focus point going, another one was Sean today. If your content is hitting across multiple platforms, right, and you've got reach and you've got growth, right, you've got good conversion based on your lead magnets you've got in place, your landing pages, you might not need to fuck about and go and spend $5 on ads, right? So progressive marketing is something that I'll commonly use with clients going, right, what response did we get from that change and that manipulation that we did inside your business? Right, sweet, has that worked? Yes, right, can we pump more volume into that? Yeah or no, right, now we need to look at a different avenue. So rather than coming in and just trying to do everything straight away, just go step-by-step process, right? Is my content marketing hitting? Have I got reach? If you've not, keep fucking going until you do, right? Based on the funnels and landing pages and websites that I've got in place, are we converting off the back of that? If you are, yes, sweet, move on to the next phase. If you're not, change that shit, because it's pointless being there. Right, from that point, it's like, right, now let's look at the next step. Let's build out email nurturing pathways, retargeting campaigns, pipeline automations. But I will have people who are on my Propel program, and they'll come in and go, right, I want to have full CRM, email nurturing, all this shit. I was like, are you getting a lead off Instagram? No. So what's the fucking point in building all that then, mate? Yeah, take your time with it. Make sure that you're doing things right and doing it step by step. From that point, it's like, right, again with Aaron today, I have to do ads, right? Because I'm talking about fucking business. Do you know what I mean? I've messed about with Instagram for 10 years. I ain't got 100,000 followers, right? But if I'd have taken content marketing seriously and all this shit that I do now many years ago, I wouldn't have to spend half as much money on ads. But I have to do that because I've maxed out my community and I need to hit new audiences. Right? But if you do it right and do it properly from the start, you can avoid all these additional expenses. But also when you do get to that point, you actually capitalize on a hell of a lot more because you've got more authority. Right? From that point, then you start building stuff. So again, the coach convention, or you've got influencer or affiliate marketing. Right? These are all things that you've basically got in a toolbox. Everyone's heard of like the coaching toolbox. Even I remember that. Like, you don't need to use all your tools straight away. You don't need, like, for example, when you're coming in and going, right, you have to do a low-carb diet or you have to do a high-carb diet. All of these little tactics all work just in different situations and different contexts. Right? The important thing is actually knowing when to actually use them and when to actually apply them. And it's exactly the same when it comes to marketing. That's how I see it. I'm not a natural marketer. I'm like a systemized marketer. Like Sean and Aaron, they're natural marketers, the creative. I've got to where I am based on systematic approach and looking at basically analytics and progressions, right? Because I ain't got I'm not very good at making sandwiches and I'm not good at MBA narrative like Aaron is. But basically, in essence, like, just take your time with it. From that point as well, actually launching a product. This is probably one of the most common things that people come to us with the agency as well, because they've got an idea, they've got a vision, but they just ain't got a fucking Scooby-Doo how to do it. And it's really, really not that difficult. If you want to come in and, let's just say, launch, like Beth's going to speak about today, like she's got a bottleneck in her business, so now we're building out an app to launch that. It's easy turning around and going, oh, I'm going to launch an app. But it's not actually when you get into the nitty-gritty of what it's actually going to take. So we basically go through like a 4-step process when it comes to launch. This is launching anything as well. It's not just a calendar and app. It could be whatever type of business. Right, your step 1 is about discovery and market research and competitor research. This is that was my, if I went back 4 or 5 years ago, that was my biggest weakness, because I would always just fucking jump straight into phase 2. I'd just attack it. Like Harron's down here, one of my old coaches, we coaching practice, and when I had basically in a company called NutriFast, I didn't do any research. I didn't do any discovery. So 6 months down the line, when I was getting absolutely fucked from all angles, I was like, Jesus Christ, if I'd have actually done my own work on this, I probably could have avoided a lot of these issues. So like before, well, I can't remember that saying, but it's like, if you've got 8 hours to chop down a tree, spend 6 hours sharpening your axe. Is that right? I think it is. That is so important when it comes to business. Right? But what happens is, it's like you see another online coach or you see a PT do something and you're like, fuck, I need to do that, so I'm going to jump straight into it. But then you're not prepared, you don't know what's going on, then you start tripping yourself up. Right? Having patience and just taking your time and just looking at, right, this is what my concept is, right? This is what the market's saying, this is what other people are doing, and this is how I'm going to dick all over them by doing it. Right? You need to have that mindset of thinking that you're preparing for war when you're actually releasing a product. You can't just throw something out onto the market and expect it to sell. From that point, you basically got to look at a step-by-step timeline structure. This is, I'm in this phase at the moment with building out our new Propel project community. And it is absolutely awful, because guess what? You have to do loads of work. Right? But that's what you need to do, because you can't launch something unless you put the absolute graft in. And then from that point, you're going into step 3. These two have to go in sync together. So if you basically went back onto the timeline a minute ago when you had marketing and you had operations, you're going to get to a point where you're thinking, fucking hell, I'm still building this thing, right? But now I've actually got to build the structure to actually sell the thing as well, right? And this is a really, really high pressure point where you're thinking, bloody hell, like, am I actually going to do this, right? But if you've got forward-facing plan and step-by-step structure, and you're ticking all the boxes and really taking your time and doing it properly, it becomes a lot easier. Right? The worst thing is when people leave it until the last 4 weeks, they've still got to finish their actual product, and then they've got to pull a marketing campaign out their arse, right? And then they wonder why they didn't get the level of sales that they did. And then coming on to this one is absolutely having an absolute massive launch, right? And then repeating all that same shit again. Right? Because once you actually launch a product and get it out to market, you've then got to actually get customer feedback on the people who are slagging it off, or the people who love it, or basically looking at, right, what are competitors doing now. Right? This is just basically a constant level cycle. Like, I think I used to have this mindset where I was like, right, I'm going to start a business, few years, I'm going to hit 6-figure months, and then I'm suddenly going to be a millionaire and retire. Right? And you realize that it quickly does not work like that. When you get up to this point, you have to put more time, more effort, more resources, more rotation, more discovery, because if not, you're just going to get knocked off the top. But what I want to kind of get across to people here, this could be launching a challenge. It could be launching a group coaching model. It could be launching a community. It could be launching a course. Right? Whatever you are looking at doing, which is new, you need to have a step-by-step process for it. Right, I love this one. Right, communication and collaboration. So when you come into business, and this is an area that I've been good with, but also bad with at the same time. There are so many different characteristics, right? And you need to understand that everybody is different, right? And this is not just if you start to hire online coaches or management staff, or if you start to basically get more online coaches, a setter, a VA, and all these people. Right? This is just your actual client base as well. Like everyone in this room will probably understand, you might have the best niche in the world, but even in that niche of 50 people, they've all got different characteristics. Right? Some of them, you might love them and you might hate them at times. Some of them might have incredible assets and incredible characteristics that you absolutely love, but some of them kind of get to you a little bit. Right? So when I was looking at the guys here, the only person I don't really know well is Stephanie, so I couldn't really kind of give her as much as everyone else. But you got like, for example, Aaron Branch is one of the most creative people that I've ever met, and you'll basically see that today. When I basically did a 2-day discovery in the office, and he was going through all these different ad campaigns and structures, like that shit just blew my head straight off, right? But you need that type of stuff in business, right? Because I'm the guy who I just process shit. Right? I'm not going to come out and create like a next level like video or graphic or all this stuff what's going to stand out in the market. I'm the guy who's going to process it all and make sure it gets there. But in business, you need creative people, right? Then you've got Mark Rhodes, right? Or for example, unless he's got an objective, he's just like, right, just tell me what to do. Right? Even if it's go and get a fridge on your back and run up a fucking mountain through Amazon rainforest, he's like, yeah, I'll just go and do that. Right? Because that's what he's like as a person. He needs that objective. So I know, for example, working with Mark, if he's not got a set structure on a week-to-week basis, he's going to drop off. He's not going to understand what's going on. So it's not about coming in and throwing a crazy promotional video at Mark and this is what you need to do. It's going, right, these are the 3 things that you need to do this week, Mark, and he's doing very, very well, right? And it's just about understanding that's what he's like as a person. Right? You got Bethany Dobson, like, incredible, like a creative mind. Like I would probably say all of that combined, but what that leads to is a point of paralysis by analysis, right? And that's what some people are like. They have that much attention to detail. It gets to the point that they'll sometimes struggle to actually get shit done, or there might be certain points where she starts actually doubting herself based on where is this right, is this wrong. So, for example, even last night getting a presentation back, and she just literally changed every single slide 45 minutes because she has that much attention to detail, right? Then you got Ben Bray, like obviously my best mate. I've known Ben for absolutely years. Like Ben Bray genuinely thinks that he can beat burnout, and that's not just when he's on prep either. That's when he's in business, when he's in everything really. Like because his head is like, I have to work, right? But that gets to a point where it blows up. Right? And you've got to understand this with people. So the amount of times that I've said to Ben, I was like, Ben, you need to stop with that. And it's taken him probably 3 years to get to a point now, other than not now, because he's absolutely on his arse on prepping corner down here. But in the last like 12 months, for example, he started to delegate more. He started to kind of get into a position where he's like, wait, I know if I push myself to this point, it's not beneficial for me or anyone in the business. Right? You got Joe Parrish. I'm going to basically say what one of his coaches said on the call yesterday. So he's got, Joe's got an incredible team, high-performance coach, and there's a lad called Troy. And he basically turned around and said, there's a woman who walks a little fat sausage dog down our street, and she drags this little dog along the ground. And I just heard Rob on call thinking, what are you talking about, mate? And he was like, yeah, the woman's Joe Parrish and we're the sausage dog, right? Because that's what Joe's like. Joe's ready to go into battle. He's like the most positive guy you'll ever meet in your life, but he's got fucking blinkers on. He's like, go. He's like, whatever we need to do, we're going to go out and get it because he's a natural leader, right? But he might not be a processor. He might not be a critical thinker, right? But you need all these type of people in business. For example, with Stephanie, she's got a baby, she's got a business, she's got everything else what's going on, right? You've got to cater for these type of people and their needs. It's not just about having an expectation of going, right, this is what you need to do, this is when you need to do it, right? Understanding how to get the most out of people and how you deliver your message. I swear, it's the biggest asset that I've ever developed in business. I blew up when I stopped being a shit manager, basically. When I actually started understanding the people that were working for me and their own needs is when I started to have fulfillment. I actually managed to have a baby where God knows how much time off, and actually felt relaxed for the first time in years because the people who were working for me were fulfilled, right? Because they were working towards stuff and they were managed in a way that actually worked for them. And this is the biggest one. This is if I were going to basically articulate this whole event into one slide, it will be this one. This is basically where we're going in this direction now. And it's not going to change anytime soon. It's just going to get worse. Like, I've probably seen 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 online coaches become mentors, running the same stuff that they've been taught to get people money fast. And everyone's in this phase of this cheat code, like cheat code this, you can scale to this in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Can you fuck? Like, I've worked with hundreds of people at all different levels. You might have some people who come on and click onto a concept and they do really, really well. But that's what happens. They'll get one result like that, blast it off, and they think that, oh, everyone can do that. Right? Every single person in this room is unique. Right? Nobody in this room should be approaching content, the business, the fulfillment, and the vision the same as fucking anyone else. Because it's about the individuality of it. Right? So when you come over onto this side with the concept of doing it right, that one brick there is a timeline. Another brick is a leader. Another brick is social media. Another brick is paid media. Another brick is a lead funnel. Right? Another brick is becoming hard to kill and having resilience. Right? It's how you basically build this step-by-step systematic approach, which is what I've basically seen the biggest people have the biggest success about. Right? The guys who come in looking for quick fixes are left with fucking pennies. Right? The guys who do it right and go brick by big, don't try and take basically the shortcuts in any way, shape, or form, are the people who are coming in and getting the prizes. Right? And I'm sorry, that's gonna take a little bit longer. It might take you 6 months rather than 6 weeks. Right? But in the long scheme of things, right, you're always working towards that scalability strategy and sustainability model. And what time? Man, 8 minutes. Sound. I'm just going to run a little competition, guys. I don't know if anyone knows what our Propel program is, but basically, if someone wants to have a free 5-month Propel program, all you got to do is just take a picture of that on screen, tag me, and then obviously you've got the Propel project, which we're launching soon, and I'm just going to sort that on Sunday night, guys. Propel project is going to be live. So, does that mean I've got 8 minutes of questions now? Right. What we're basically going to do, sorry, I missed that off earlier. We've got a timer down here. If there's time left on that timer, we're going to have Q&As. So I don't know if anyone has got any questions in any way, shape, or form about anything. If not, don't matter. I'll move on to the next one. Oh, there's one here.
Can we get copies of all the slides rather than trying to take photos and write everything down?
Did you what, sorry?
Can we get copies of all the slides? That
Yeah, we'll sort every, 100%.
Perfect, thank you.
We're going to get everything recorded as well, so you can watch it back afterwards.
Fantastic, thanks.
Anything else, anyone?
Yeah, I've got. Hello. Hello.
Hey.
So, what's the switch been for you since you've become a father? Have you actually changed anything, or are you just still going whole hog?
No, completely different, to be fair, because you haven't got the ability to do it. You have to change your routine and change your structure. Like, I've got, again, a lot more ownership on that guy, and I basically, it was 6 weeks after Remy were born, and I had a very, very tough 6 weeks because I thought I got everything to the right place to be able to do it all, and I didn't, and it absolutely fucked me. And I basically just said what I did in this talk here, and I got everyone onto a call and said, like, in order for me to be the husband and be the person and be the dad that I want, this is what my day needs to look like, guys, and I need you all to work around that. And that was hard for me because I'm normally the guy who's just, I'll smash myself into the ground to get everyone else paid. But I just basically had to be completely honest with everyone and say, like, look, this is the hours that I need to work. These are the jobs that I need to be doing. Everything else needs to be covered for everyone to grow. But it all comes down to that point of communication and collaboration. Like, if I'd have kept that to myself, it would have got to a point where I'd resented what I was doing. I'd resented my team. But half the time it comes down to literally just asking someone. That's one thing that what we do now is all one-to-one with the agency and Propel. And I'll just say to people, like, the best thing that you can do is ask. Like, it don't matter if it's personal, professional, if it's out of hours or whatever. The worst thing that you can do is just keep something to yourself and let it fester. Like, just literally get it out there. Ask someone for help. And that's basically what I did with my team. I didn't really change much myself. I just literally lent on my team to help me out a lot more than what they've probably done before.
Cheers.
Anything else?
Just me. So I think one thing that would benefit the audience that you've helped me with significantly over the last few years is the importance of that routine. So obviously with Remy being born, that shifted. But how you helped me prevent burnout was how you structured my routine. So I think I'm not asking you to go through your routine bit by bit,
No,
but
I've just changed my routine.
the importance of like routine and how you set that up in terms of high priority tasks first and then so on.
Yeah, so though this is an area I was doing wrong when Remy were born, I was like boxing and training at like 3 o'clock, and then I was going into office at like 4, and then I was sleeping for like 37 minutes a night, which were not like smart in any way, shape or form. And I basically switched back to a routine that I used to basically go into, which was in essence kind of looking at front loading as much as possible in the start of the day. So I'd be basically getting up and setting my highest priority task, which is making sure that I'm actually training, or I've not trained for last week in any way, shape or form, but basically getting up, 5 a.m. gym session, and then get home, get to the office for 7 a.m., run all my heavy calls first thing in the morning, walk the dogs, and then basically have the afternoon off. And I know that some people think that obviously like it's deep work. The hardest challenge that I have in my job is call time. When you've got some of the projects that we have going off, it's not like I can get onto a call and chat shit for half an hour. Like there's a lot going on, a lot to process. So I'll basically just go, right, gym session, look after myself first, even though it's fasted and natty, whatever, do you know what I mean? That's why I'm skinny now. But in essence, like I'll just front load that, look after myself, do all my calls, have a break, and then I'll have like 2-3 hours in the afternoon where I can kind of chill and settle. And then it comes home and I'm home at 5 o'clock, and then I'm straight into dad shift and doing stuff wrong shift. And then basically kind of go from there really. But Ben's absolutely right. I honestly think that the moment that your routine's all over the place, the moment that you don't get anything done, you would not believe how many multi-6-figure and 7-figure business owners I've worked with. I've had to get a timetable up and I've had to allocate them shit to do on what they need to be doing on a day-to-day basis. And these are guys who've achieved ridiculous level of things. And like, I'm over, like Sarah Catterson won the other day. She had like 2x their business and she was like absolutely smashing it, but she was miserable. I'm like, what? I said, what the fuck's wrong with you? You know what I mean? You go and do what you want now. You're chilling, mate. And then she was just like, I'm burnt out, I'm stressed. And I said, show me what your day looks like. And everything was just absolutely all over the place. And I said, you're creating jobs that you shouldn't even fucking be doing there as a starting point. I said, that's when you do this in hour 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I literally made a book off every single Saturday and booked Disneyland and booked loads of shit with a fella. I said, what's going to happen in 3 months' time when you've worked that hard, you've disregarded your relationship and you two start fighting? You're not going to be no use to me if you're miserable and upset coming into work because you're falling out with your boyfriend. Like, your personal life is always going to reflect your professional life, and it all starts with your routine, what kind of Ben said. Like, as part of that, you need to have set downtime. You need to have time off at weekends. Like, the whole concept of grind 24/7 is absolutely bullshit. It's one thing that grains on me when you've got guys who are doing multi-millions a month, and they've taken 20 years to get there. The day's not that difficult, and then they're just shouting out about, right, yeah, all you need to do is work 24/7, work till 12, work through night. I was like, yeah, it's easy for you, mate. You've got about 50 people working for you. Right? You need to look after yourself before you look after everything else. And for me, looking after myself is making sure that I am a good person at home. The moment that I feel like I'm letting them down, like none of it's worth it for me. So I just basically changed it based on that. Sound. Right, that's me retired. See you later.